Today's September 12th. You're watching the Stock Market Brief Show. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about this big old rally taking place and how I can sense the FOMO going on right now if you manage to miss this specific move. But we're going to talk about what to look for potentially if you are looking to catch onto this change in trend that is currently taking place. Doesn't mean it's going to hold, but what to look for specifically. Now, what I want to call out right here is we're looking at multiple products on the 30-minute time frame. We got the SPYs here, the Qs, the IWM, semiconductors, biotech, and the industrial average. And what you'll notice here is that they are above their purple line, which is the 5-day moving average. It is green on the bulk of these. That just means price is above it and the moving average is starting to turn up. On top of that, we're above the month-to-date anchored volume weighted average price on each of these products as well. IWM is the one that's still in yellow, which means that the calculation of the moving average is still down, but price is above it, so it's just diverging. But once this actually starts to calculate up, which it will if we hold, it's going to start turning green here in the very near future. So everything right now is looking pretty good. But the first question you want to ask yourself is where his price came from. And it came from down here to basically straight up with relatively no consolidation. So what we need to be paying attention for is the consolidation to take place. Now we're going to get to the SPY on the 15-minute time frame, and I'm going to point out we are actually above the week-to-date expected move for the week, and there's always the possibility that we pull back and trade in and around these levels. So that would be something that I'd be watching for come tomorrow. But that would be a substantial move back into these levels, which could, push some scare back into the market overall. Now, albeit this has been a monster rally back and we're seeing, the sectors all performing here relatively well. But I want to just call out there, this is just an inside trading candle from the prior week's volatility. So this is, after we see pretty volatile weeks and we see snapbacks, this is typical behavior of the markets, especially when we were in negative gamma territory. Now, speaking of gamma, we came into this 5,600 level today. It was actually called out on Twitter as price was pulling into it. I had to call this out because this is where, price action could get pinned in and around. So even if we get above the level and traders don't reach out further, it's likely to come back in and doodle around that 5,600. And you can see as we came into it today on the minute time frame, we just doodle around, we pushed, we came back, we broke, we came back, and so forth, right at around that key level. Now, if we take a look at the gamma flip line, that's at 55.40, and as we note, we close at 55.95, so we are back in that positive gamma, which is where dealers look to buy the dip and sell the rip. So as long as we can hold that with being in positive trends across the board, we'd be looking for those dips, selling the rips, buying the dips, selling the rips, and so forth. So overall, this is a positive sign. We just got to be patient and wait for those pullbacks and consolidations if those moves were actually missed. Now, obviously, going into the end of day tomorrow, we'll have new weekly expected moves, new daily expected moves, etc. Tomorrow's daily expected move is about 562.77 to the upside, 555.41 to the downside. So in and around these levels in here, if price happens to pull back, I'd be looking to see where the week to date, the month to date anchor volume weight average, and where the 5-day moving average is in and around that time. Because I do want to call out that, we're a little bit into overbought conditions, from this rally up. And you have a high and a higher high where the RSI is kind of diverging from that. It's more clear if you look at the Qs on the 15-minute time frame where you see a high and a higher high, but you see a high and a lower high there. So I'd be watching closely for the consolidations and playing it like that. During intraday stuff, I'll be watching the market net flow, but I don't plan on being all too aggressive. Definitely not from the short side, but not really from the long side into tomorrow's trading session. I just want to see how we consolidate this current move. Now, going into tomorrow, we do have some data coming out 30 minutes after the open. That's Michigan consumer sentiment. So just be aware that that can bring in some volatility into the overall markets. Other than that, that's all I really have on today's show. And then I'm going to go ahead and I posted some trade ideas in there for the Discord group. If you want to check that out, you can do so. The link is in the pinned comment and also in the description. But I'm going to go over some names now for that group. Thanks for tuning in. See you later.